A couple nights ago when the Flames put Dustin Wolf between the pipes, you're thinking there's a young goalie in there, you gotta play a good game in front of him. It's against San Jose, one of the bottom teams in the league, just play a good game in front of him and help him get the win. Instead, they absolutely get rinsed by the Sharks. Wolf didn't have a great game, but tons of turnovers, terrible D-zone coverage. Quite honestly, it looked like they overlooked the San Jose Sharks as an opponent, and they made him pay for it. That team's still in the NHL, man. If you play like the Flames did, they can still take advantage. Then you had Detroit coming in today, Markstrom back between the pipes. There are a ton of trade rumors swirling around this team. I mean, we've talked plenty about Hanifin, Tanev, Markstrom even, and now Kevin Weeks is talking about Rasmus Andersson also garnering interest. I understand that's a lot of distractions and a lot of stuff swirling around, but even with that, it wasn't unreasonable to think they would have a really good bounce back game against the Red Wings after what happened against San Jose. 5-0, Detroit dominated from start to finish. A fan threw an octopus on the ice in Calgary. 2 absolute eggs laid by the Flames in a row. You could maybe even count that Rangers game because Markstrom bailed them out a ton in that one. He was fantastic. Quite a 180 from a week ago where they beat the brakes off the Boston Bruins and played 2 really good games against the Devils and Islanders. I don't know what's happened since then. Maybe the constant trade rumors have started to seep into the locker room, but those have been around all season. This week has been so weird for the Calgary Flames. I mentioned a few videos ago that even though the Devils and Flames have had serious conversations about the Markstrom trade, I'd be stunned if it happened at this point of the season just because there's so much salary there from Markstrom and the Flames haven't seemed to be too keen on retaining too much of that. Plus, they'd only be dealing with 1 or 2 teams mid-season who might not have as much to offer as in the offseason when you've got 4, 5, 6 teams plus with most likely better assets available to trade. The one thing that changes that though is if Markstrom actively wants to be traded out of Calgary like now so he can go on a playoff run. I personally think if he does get traded, that's really an off-season thing. But if he does end up getting dealt before the deadline here, I think him wanting out now so he can go to a contender and have a chance to go on a long playoff run would definitely be the key factor here. And after a game like that, who knows, man. Couple things I want to highlight. On the second goal, Mackenzie Weegar goes back to get the puck. He does well to cut towards the boards, but he stops moving his feet. That's his mistake here. And because of that, the forechecker is able to close on him quicker, forcing him to make a play he doesn't want to make. If he cuts towards the boards and keeps moving his feet, he'd have Sharangovich there, and he'd have a lot more open ice to make a better play. He flings it up the boards to Kuzmenko, and he's way too high here. He's got to come down lower. That's a big reason why this ends up being a turnover. When Weegar turns, if Kuzmenko is about here, you've got a great opportunity at a nice clean breakout. Instead, it results in what ends up being quite an ugly goal against. The first goal is a beautiful one-timer from Patrick Kane, and the third one, it's a 5-on-3. Tanev definitely could have done a better job boxing out Larkin in front, but you can't over-criticize a 5-on-3. That's a discipline issue. You gotta take less penalties. Number 4 is a good old case of puck watching. I mean, there's no reason this lane should be wide open in the slot. Sure, you could maybe say Markstrom should have had it, but don't have all 5 of your guys on the ice puck watching. And the 5th one, I don't even want to talk about it. Look, I don't like being overly negative about the Calgary Flames. That's my favorite team. I cheer for them. I'd much rather talk about when they beat the brakes off of Boston, when Sharangovich scored that hat trick against Arizona. I like when they're doing well. But this type of stuff needs to be talked about as well, and what happens with this team for the next 3 or so weeks is going to be really interesting. My biggest wish in 2024 for them now, I think it would be super cool if they draft TJ Ginla in June. As usual, if you want more videos like this, you know what to do. Like, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. You're awesome.